vs. the World production would like to thank JetBit Software for the use of RSS Feed Creator. This show has its RSS feed created and maintained by RSS Feed Creator, with its easy-to-understand interface and ability to upload all with a simple click. You can't make it any easier. Try out all their awesome software at www.jitbit.com or see the link on our front page at vtwproductions.com.
Send in your emails to showx@vtwproductions.com.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to ShowX. Now on video, apparently, since I don't know if I was actually running earlier or not, or if I didn't hit all the buttons right. That's the challenge with me being running around for the last several weeks. So if nothing else, the audio is all going to be there. The video may be broken. Yay! Anyhow, welcome back, and we're continuing with our Geek Cred today. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of what I was talking about and then call it done and give it back to you, Ken. Because as you were talking about games, one of the games that I just started playing, and I was trying to hold off, but it looks so good, is the new alpha release, and that's where it's always like but it's alpha, do I really want to get into something that early? But it's the new one from Codemasters, Dirt Rally. And for those that don't know, Dirt, the entire series of those, are essentially rally racing simulators or games that have been put out by Codemasters for the last several years. Dirt 3 that had come out most recently prior to this was really a fun game. It's one of the ones that we use at my Game Fest for the LAN party part of the competition piece for driving. It helps having a steering wheel to do so. And part of what gave this emphasis for me is because I picked a new one up. And so,
of course you did.
Well, now the way this worked out, though, is this is one that I had promised to me from my friend, the one that we call The Beebs, gaming with us. That he had picked. We call him the Beebs. Yeah.
But that was my name.
Well, he's the Beebs because he looks like the Beebs. He looks like Bieber.
Did I finally qualify away from it? Did I just have to grow like a 3-inch beard?
You have a beard. You actually look like a man now. He still looks like a child, so that's part of it.
Well, if Kaden has her way, I won't have her for long. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, but so the Beebs had, for Game Fest, had actually brought out a full gaming chair that he had purchased and found somewhere on Craigslist. Very inexpensive. Did a really good job. That came with a steering wheel controller already attached. And so what would have been like a $1,000 gaming chair and controller, he got for like $300. Well, he then went and found what would have been a $300 gaming controller for like $200 or $150 or something. And so basically the Logitech ones were, this one that I have is the old one that came with the chair, which was the step down, the G25. And then, or G27, whichever one's the lower one. And then he just bought the newest one, the nicest one, and stuck it on the wheel. And so he had this one sitting around. He's like, well, I don't need 2 steering wheels. I was like, I need a new steering wheel that actually does the full, like, multiple rotations and is modern and good. And so he was like, well, if you want it, yeah, you can get it from me. I'll give you a good price. So it's sitting here. But now that I have this new steering wheel, which in all honesty was because I may or may not have pre-ordered a game that comes out maybe right on or after my birthday.
Okay.
Which, well, it's one I've been waiting forever, and I was like, well, I'm going to take my birthday off work, and I'm not going to be working the day after. I'll have my 4-day break, essentially, because of my birthday coming up. What could I do during that time? Game a bit, maybe? And it just happens to be one of the racing games that we've been anticipating for a long time now comes out this week. And that is Project Cars. And so Project Cars, which is this whole separate company development of a racing game designed specifically for the PC and then ported to the consoles, unlike the people that do it the other way around wrong. And it's gorgeous looking, all the physics, everything about it, so I can't wait for it. So I got the steering wheel, but then I have the steering wheel, and it's like, well, I've already played all these games I have, and then lo and behold, this alpha for Dirt Rally came out. And essentially it's the next version, and they're trying to focus on this one where Dirt 3 had gotten a little arcadey. Less realistic, more just action kind of thing, although it still felt really good. This one, they're focusing far more on the realistic side of rally racing and how difficult it is. And I will tell you, even driving around in the first car, which is essentially just the original 60s version of a Mini Cooper, driving that tiny, tiny car on some of these roads felt like the roads were way too small. And so I can only imagine when it's going to be going up to some of the newer vehicles on those same tracks where I'll just be like, ah! And they have a thing
cool.
where you can get off the road so easy in this one and just be done. And they don't give you the nice, easy things they did in the earlier Dirts where you can just, like, back it up a little bit in the camera and start again from there. You know, it's like, no, this is rally racing. Don't crash. And so if you do crash to a point where you can't recuperate it, you know, you can go off track and they give you a recover time, like a penalty of 15, 20, 10 seconds, depending on how badly you went off, to get you back on track and keep going. But if you destroy your car or go off so bad that it's like a hill that you wouldn't be able to recover from, they say you're done. You did not finish that race. And your only option is you could pay 1,000 credits to restart the race from the beginning for that one. So it's got a little bit more of a, ooh, this hurts, and it focuses on, I should probably learn to drive. But I really like it. And there's
That's
little things
cool.
that
No, I
there's
think it's good to have
details they've
games like
done.
that.
It's difficult in a way that makes me appreciate the simulation and not drive like an arse. And so it's like, yeah, this looks good. And yes, pause. With Project Cars, I did go to Green Man Gaming and get the pre-order, which is why I did it, because it was essentially 20% off doing it that way. And it was like,
that's the kind of thing I can understand in pre-orders. Is when they say like you get this free rifle,
you get this extra
DPS
like
more. That's when I have a problem with it.
No, I feel the same. This is a pre-order bonus. Is more just because it was a deal. And I think with Project Cars, you do get like an extra car or something like that if you pre-order it. But that was it. It doesn't like, it's not, you didn't have to pay more. It's just for buying it before it comes out. And I'm not a big fan of a pre-order thing other than that anyways. But so I'm really looking for this. Looking forward to both these games. The little bit of Dirt Rally I've played is really good. In fact, I was streaming it a tiny bit as I was trying to figure out how to get my stream working again yesterday on Twitch. And so you can probably see some of my playing with that. And having it run at 60 frames per second and just running through the mountains was gorgeous. And the things they've done with audio where you can hear little rocks and stuff pinging off the car.
Cool.
And like I could tell, and this is how good it was in one of the videos you'll watch where I'm driving along, and all of a sudden I start hearing this dragging sound in the gravel, like after I kind of bumped something or whatever. And essentially my back right wheel had come off of the car, and it was dragging on the like drum of the car. But it was a front wheel drive Mini, so I was still able to drive it. Really squirrely at that point, but the audio was such that as soon as it fell off, I was like, I think I lost my wheel. And it was because the driving had changed so much that because I heard it, that I was just like,
that's
I was
pretty
like,
cool.
Whoa! I seriously, and it was just like dragging, just, and then I finally changed camera to an external view, and the car's just leaned over, all back on it. I look, it's like, yep, no wheel. But so it's a surprisingly good game. I hope to get further into it, and we'll see how much they end up releasing. But right now it's on alpha, and I think Stoner checked it out for me. It was what, 22 pounds for the game, where for me it was like $32 or something in the US. So it's also one of the lesser expensive games out there. It's not like a $50 or $60 game. It's actually not that bad. So anyhow, check that out. That's what I've been gaming on. What else did I want to say about those? Those were the main things. I finally played some Titanfall again yesterday. It's been a while. Oy.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, enjoy it. It's just, it's been a while. I think that's
So that was kind of like
a
a fad, wasn't it? It's kind of disappeared. Like Halo and COD are forever because there's so many iterations, but Titanfall was
No,
there
actually,
and
we're
then gone.
really waiting for Titanfall 2 to come out. That should be good. Although it's interesting because the new, Black Ops 3 from Call of Duty has been announced. In fact, you can pre-order it already. And it's been in development for like the last 3 years. And I say this because, of course, my same group, everyone from Pause through like El Campo and such, are really excited because unlike the Advanced Warfare, which we bought and we were all like, barely play. We were going back to Black Ops 2 more than playing the new game.
Yeah.
Even after they've patched it, we're still like, I like Black Ops 2 better. Treyarch, who makes the Black Ops series, is one of the ones that has made solid Call of Duties for years now. The ones that are truly fun. And so there's a hope that Black Ops 3 will follow that same trend, although they've talked about it being slightly futuristic and adding a few things like that. And so it's like, I'm concerned, but at the same time, kind of looks good. So we'll see. We'll see how they go with it. I'm just, yeah, so as what Stoner's telling me is that Dirt Rally is currently £22.49. So 20, what is that? Well, yeah, $22.49. And they basically right now the early access is a 10% discount from regular price, and it will potentially go up as it comes out to a full game. So I was like, hey, it's playable now. It looks and sounds great now. I can buy it now, and I'll get the full game too. So I'm cool with that.
That's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, so we'll see. But all these other games coming out. Titanfall, I enjoy a lot. It's still fun. I was getting a little frustrated on a couple levels last night. Probably because I should have been in bed. Because I say last night, this morning at like 2:30 or 3 in the morning. Anyhow, Titanfall 2 I'm really excited for. Black Ops 3 looks like they're going to include some movement mechanics that they've called similar to Titanfall. Because that's one of the things that makes that game so fun. So that might actually make Black Ops 3 even more entertaining. We'll see. Things to come. Anyhow, I stole from you. Do you have anything else you'd like to finish up with your geek cred before we switch into talking things a little more newsworthy?
Yes, actually, I do. So I've been playing Hearthstone again. That just was strange for me because I didn't really touch it for like 6 months, and then suddenly I got back into it a couple weeks ago, like I mentioned last time we were on. So it's a bit strange that I've had this fad where I got back into it. But I've now, as of, let's see, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I finished the last section in Blackrock, the latest like sort of expansion, because I bought the whole thing, remember? And it was so much fun. Oh, nice! You're just opening it for the first time ever.
Basically.
It is so much fun. That whole expansion was freaking awesome. And to be honest, even though I got I got an extra armies with gold, and I got the whole Blackwing one with actual money, I'd pay again. I loved it.
Really?
It was so much fun. It was honestly that much fun. Now, when I played the first wing, I was like, oh, it wasn't worth it. But now that I've played, all the wings and all the class bits and all the each individual sections, I've thought, like, actually, that was pretty freaking good. I really, really enjoyed that. The cards you get from it are fun as well. They're not just like mega powerful, but they're actually fun. They have new elements to they added new elements to the game. The thing is, there are cards you can only get well, not necessarily buy. I mean, buy with gold, right? You can buy with in-game currency that you earn.
Yes.
That'll take forever. But you have to pretty much put money into the game to be able to really advance, unless you put a lot of insane amounts of time into it.
You'd have to spend a lot of time to get the cards that you could probably buy pretty easily. And that's the challenge I have with Hearthstone, like any CCG, be it virtual or real. I don't care enough about any one game, because I jump all over the place, to invest that much time and money to be relevant. So for me, it's kind of a no-go, because I showed it on the phone there real quick, but I have Hearthstone on my phone because they finally had released it for iOS.
Yep.
And I was like, well, maybe now I will actually play this game, because I'm not going to bring it up on my desktop. I have too many good games to play there. But on my phone, that could be something kind of fun. And so the problem is, the couple times I've played it, not only have I gotten smoked in ways that I don't recall being possible, like, because it's not just playing with friends, it's just like, all right, match me with someone supposedly my skill. I've played the game less than like a dozen times. How are people that are this high just destroying me so easily? And I'm like, okay, one, your matchmaking sucks, or I don't know what it's doing, but it's got that point where it's like, I don't know if I care enough to learn the game and play it more. But I have it. It's installed. Yeah.
Well, I personally really enjoy it, and yeah, it's kind of that level where, like, I didn't play when Nax came out for a long time, so when I came back, everybody had death rattle stuff. Everybody had all these cards. Now there was me with my basic mage deck with a couple. Like, I had Hogger. Hogger was my legendary. I like Hogger. I now have something like 8 legendaries. Not because I've been buying packs, but because you unlock like pretty much 2 or 3 per expansion. And now I've completed Naxxramas and Blackwing, so I've got like a whole bunch of legendaries. So I can go in and actually be a challenge to them now. It's nice. Before I really wasn't, but now I am. So it's pretty sweet going back in like that. I'm managing to keep up now. That being said, I'm not exactly a high rank. What am I? I'm rank 18 now, which is 2 above 20, right? Like below a bit above. So I'm doing okay. I'm not the worst level, but I've been playing with intentionally playing with a deck that's entirely based on the latest expansion, because since the last wing only got released on Friday, and I completed it by Saturday, that means I got all these cards that hopefully the community doesn't have, and so far I've not met one other Nefarian once.
Interesting.
So it's good that I can go in there and kind of like destroy people because of the fact that I put in the time and effort to pass that wing as quickly as possible. And it was pretty challenging at times, I gotta say. There was a couple bits where I was like, oh jeez, I was like, how am I going to do this? I tried like 10 times in one battle. It reminded me of playing old school games again a little bit. going in and just being like, I've tried every single thing I can think of. Why is it not working?
Yep.
A lot of it's just beating your head against it till the random numbers generator gods look down
They finally
on you
let you go. Oh no, I
Yeah.
run into that with my when I play the Pokemon Shuffle game, like as I go to bed real quick or so, because some of the times it says your chance to catch this Pokemon now that you win is like 15%.
Yeah.
Go, catch. I guess the random number gods were happy. Other times it's like 68%, you fail. 70%, you fail. It's like, what?
There's an interesting psychological thing behind that. I don't know the name of the phenomenon, but I remember reading the Wikipedia article about it. Anybody in the IRC, please do help out if you know it. It's where people who gamble usually get this. But the idea is basically people do a certain amount of actions, and they feel that when they do these actions, success happens. So say, for example, they went and got a haircut before they went and gambled.
Yeah, no,
before they did something.
it's like everything that's a superstition essentially for ways to create success out of nothing. It's the people who have to wear a certain jersey every day when their sports team is on or something, and
exactly.
yeah,
And they're
whatever.
like, oh, well, it worked last time, so it'll work this time. And it's interesting. I was talking to somebody at my previous work about that, and they said I was saying it's a really interesting thing that I was reading about, and this guy was like, I actually have that, and I didn't really realize I was doing it until you just said. I was sort of doing it subconsciously. He was saying how he had this big problem at work, and there's like I don't know, a server was busted or something he was working on. And one day he was walking back from breakfast and he touched this bit of a window when he looked outside. And when he touched that part of a window, he said that everything worked that day and it was a really good day. And so every day since, he kept coming back and touching that window. And I was like, that is so interesting, don't you think? Like, I just think that's such a strange human behavior.
People have a desire to believe that they can affect change in their lives somehow, whatever they may be. There's people who want to be able to say that if I do this, I will be guaranteed to have success. And so there's such a draw to that because it's such a overwhelming feeling often to have things feel like they're out of your control that you can't affect any valuable change or something that it makes sense in people's psyche that they want to have something that they can say, this is the thing I control that I can handle, right? And so it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think it's the same way people can believe they have magic powers or whatever. If they believe in certain things, it'll work better for them. Or if they do certain things, it'll work better for them. So I just think it's really interesting. I there's definitely a psychological thing behind it. I remember also reading it's something to do with the fact that humans are good at doing logic, right? And patterns. We love patterns. So, like, when you see a face, it's a pattern. You see the specific oval, maybe a shape down the middle, and then a line across. Even if I drew you just a couple of circles in a line, instantly your mind goes, that's a face. That I see a face.
You start to see the patterns that are meaningful, yes.
We're really good at that. So it's pretty interesting. I think that's part of it, is that we're like, oh, well, I did that this morning, and then that worked out, so they must be interlinked, so I must do that from now on. It's kind of like a fault in our, genealogy.
Like I said, it's superstition. It's people having the desire. Because I relate a lot to the sports thing, because people want to believe that they have something they do that helps that team that they enjoy watching succeed, and therefore they feel like they have more of a part of that success, which to me has always been the most insane thing ever. Because of the millions of fans, every one of us have a thing that we can do that was able to affect that person catching that ball, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
The stupidest thing, but at the same time, people will just get stuck by these things. And I know a lot of people who suffer from it, especially around sports, where it's like, I have to wear this thing every time. And sports players do it too. They have their special socks or this one thing or whatever.
It's pretty much the sort of what's the name for it? The effect when you take a dummy pill. What's that called?
Yeah, placebo effect. Yeah,
placebo effect. It's a placebo effect in a sense, because it makes you feel better about the thing you're doing, and in turn that might make you perform better. So
it can, because if it takes away your inhibition, if it already puts you in a mindset of success, the likelihood that you're going to perform the things necessary to create that success are higher, because you already are confident you're going to do it. So there is a point where that does make sense and that it does have value. It's just interesting seeing how people use it and do it. That's just like, what? But yeah, that's just me. Anyhow. All right.
Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but
yes, I think it is time for us to get over and talk about a few things news. Probably only one thing news, but because it's going to be, we have a lot of articles coming up here, and I know we have someone who wants to call in and talk about some, and I think the article I bring up first will help prompt that. So let's go ahead and switch things over here.
technology, news, and more today on the Geekoscope.
So, today for the last half hour of the show, which will actually have video since I somehow screwed up the first half. Alright, the article I was going to bring up, and this is one I think will get our friend Kupchak to dial in, because I don't know if this is exactly what he was talking about, but I figure it'll prompt. This is an article that I got from the unfortunate Kotaku network, but it discusses some event that occurred just recently here in the US, and for those who pay elsewhere. The article is titled, ESPN airs video games. Twitter freaks out.
I saw this on Twitter. I didn't see it anywhere else. That's funny. Yeah.
So, the article reads, and it said this happened while it was occurring. So it said, tonight on ESPN2, sports fans across the world were treated not to the NBA playoffs or the burgeoning baseball season, but to live footage of college students playing Heroes of the Storm. Yep. Thanks to a partnership with Blizzard, the flashy MOBA, it talks about the genre, blah, blah, League of Legends, all that, got a solid 2+ hours of airtime on national television, complete with a live audience and professional esports commentators. Yeah. And so, let's see, again, here we have, go figure, joining us. And so let me get in here so I can switch over to, hopefully, that will pick it up. Yay! Look at that, it worked. Yay. Alright. So, welcome to the show, Cup. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going. Just wish I could learn how to hit my hotkeys to mute my mic. But yeah, go ahead and explain it, and then I'll represent the nerd backlash that happened. And I'll explain that in further.
So I'll continue a little bit of the article, and I'll give my first synopsis of it. It says, the stakes are very real here. This is part of a Blizzard-sponsored tournament called Heroes of the Dorm, and the winning team will snag themselves a full scholarship for the rest of their time in college. As you might expect, a whole lot of people flipped out over all of this. Reactions to the tournament, let's see, it says, which, thanks to the nature of MOBAs, was rather inaccessible to people not familiar with the game, were incredible, ranging from salty to hilarious. ESPN2 trended on Twitter for a few hours too, and scanning the reactions brought some up. So here's some examples of reactions on Twitter, and you can go from there. So it goes, one gentleman says on ESPN2, it links and says, is a dark black hole at the moment. Turn it on and you'll never be able to leave. Another one comes in and says, I can't believe ESPN2 is showing nerds play video games. The nerd who plays fantasy football. They quote, and he goes, and that's just like someone quoting another. Another one says, can we all just take a moment to appreciate that World of Warcraft Championship is on ESPN2 right now? Oh, okay, sorry. That is its own level of funny. Let's see, another one. I turn on ESPN2 and these geeks are playing World of Warcraft or something. Where's my NBA? I want to see some slam dunks, not stupid nerds. ESPN2 is reporting on the pinnacle of athletic competition right now. So yeah. So and there's a whole like page in here of things of responses back and forth on Twitter. So with that in mind, just as a heads up, it's essentially this is not the first time this has happened, but it is a slight interesting switch because ESPN in the past actually held Magic the Gathering tournaments on their online and their higher level channels of ESPN, not the ESPN one, but on the other levels, where they hosted like Magic the Gathering, and you could watch people playing CCGs on ESPN on national television. This, now as an iteration, is coming in from the digital perspective, and again, we know that people watch these things because Twitch you can go to at any time of day and see a massive amount of people watching a streamed game.
Oh yeah.
So, and this is also, if you think about it, a link to where they said this is sponsored by Blizzard, which we know Blizzard has lots of, monies. And so it doesn't necessarily not make sense for them to try to promote their big game for everyone to check out. Anyhow, Mr. Kupchak, I would love to hear your response to the initial piece of this event occurring.
Well, the biggest thing about it from my point of view is that people who are uneducated, or for a highly layman's term, retarded, on the aspect of esports.
Okay.
It boggles my mind sometimes. It's like, yes, the NBA postseason's going on right now, But when something cuts through the norm of what they're expecting, they flip the hell out. And the greatest thing about it is that one Colin Cowherd was bitching and complaining on his radio show about how, there was a whole bunch of nerds playing League of Legends. His words, not mine.
Oh yeah, no, there were a lot of people who mischaracterized what they were seeing.
Yep.
But he also compared to listening to Day 9 and Artosis. He called them out by name as two of the 4 color commentators for this grand finals. And then he proceeded to say something. He proceeded to say something that resonated with me so bad, to where I started a petition for his firing.
Okay.
And that was he said that listening to the commentary was like putting a gun to his mouth. And I posted a reply. I made a change.org petition, the whole 9 yards. I've been posting it everywhere on any YouTube channel that was mentioning it. And yet there was one guy who was just as bad as uneducated as Colin Cowherd himself.
Okay.
Saying something along the lines of, well, it's like some people play games and try to make it into a sport. That's why they created the word. It's not my word. It's the word of the commenter. They made up the term esports just to have some form of solidarity and credibility towards the people who are trying to play video games for a living. And the E in ESPN was originally the word entertainment.
Yes.
It does not matter. It does not matter how entertainment is come across. Like the 2000 Magic the Gathering World Championships, or in this case, League of Legends. ESPN3, their streaming service, had the freaking Dota International tournament streaming on their service last year, and nobody says a word about what happened in the past. It's the current. It's the current and the now that people are up in arms about.
That's a really good point, Cupcheck. It does actually say entertainment and sports. Not entertaining sports, entertainment and sports is what the title stands for, according to their website anyway. So you're totally correct that it isn't just a sports channel. That is something important to highlight.
Well, it's great. There's a comment from Copy in the IRC that I think is really well stated, which is that she says, I don't know how jocks who don't actually play sports are getting butthurt about video games being aired on their network. And it's like, because what are the, and it was kind of mentioned in one of those pieces where it's the, people who do fantasy football.
Yeah.
That's like one of the most geeky things you can do, and it's essentially being a gamer. It's just people trying to, they don't want to associate it because it's not what they think it counts as, but you're doing the same things. And it really goes back, Cupcheck, to kind of what you started with. It's really just, it's people that they hear something or see something they don't understand, and their initial reaction is just like fear or loathing or something about it instead of trying to understand it or appreciate it. And it's also people that, because it's not what I love, it must be wrong, regardless of how close to what it is, like it's almost the exact same thing, but it's not what I love, and therefore it's bad. And so it's that initial reaction, that gut thing they do that I think is so unfortunate. Because we've talked about this many times in the past where it's still sports in the sense of competition. I know Octail in the past has gone off about this, about he does not like the term esports. But it goes into the level of, these are teams competing against each other, that it takes skill and knowledge to perform, even if it's not as much an athletic event. It is still something that requires the same kind of coordination and execution that you can argue almost any sport has. And so, I mean, I am not personally off-put by the term esport.
I kind of am, but I don't care. To me, it's a term. It's the name of something. is what it represents as the main thing, right? So I don't care if they call it esports or whatever. I mean, yeah, maybe that is the ticket to get them onto sportier channels, I guess. But I like to think the people who actually run these channels tend to have more than like 3 brain cells. Like, oh, it has the word sport in the title for the genre, so it must be okay. I think instead they think, oh, this will make us money because there's lots of people who want to watch this, and it's variance. Some people might enjoy that.
Well, that's what it really gets down to, right? It's all about the money aspect of it because, why would a company like ESPN, who makes a ton of money from people watching their shows and therefore the advertising revenue that comes around with it, why would they risk, losing viewers to anything they do? So in reality, what they've done is identified a market that they see gaining viewers, and that's why they put it on 2 versus 1. They knew there was a risk involved, otherwise it would have been right up front. But at the same time, they see, well, if Twitch, this online service, can pull in almost 1 million viewers on some of these events that they do simultaneously going on, that's 1 million eyes we could have watching one of these massive tournaments on our television and get our ad revenue instead of it going online to this other company. So it makes a ton of sense.
The thing that gets me is that I'm going to elaborate on 2 things that y'all mentioned. They aired the top 32 of this Heroes of the Dorm tournament on ESPN3.
Okay.
What I guess it was the Blizzard money that moved them over to ESPN2, but in all actuality and hindsight of things, what they should have done is, just keep it on ESPN streaming network. And I say that because, like, if we knew then what we knew now about this huge ass backlash about how, like, Colin Cowherd's a dick and this, that, and the other, and all the jocks are going completely crazy about it. If we knew then what we knew now, we would not have put that on ESPN2.
I don't think I agree. I think it's a good thing we did it. I mean, yeah, I'll upset some people, but the thing about it is we're opening people's eyes who normally aren't into this genre of entertainment to the fact that it exists at all. That it's not just these nerds doing it, that there's, look at all these people watching it. Look, it's on this massive channel. Look at how popular it is online. Look at what people are talking about on Twitter. I think that's a great thing because it's great for the it was great for Blizzard, right? Blizzard are just raking in money from this because they're getting paid by this channel for that. They're bringing in viewers for the channel. The channel's going to enjoy that as well. I mean, everybody's talking about that, so that's free advertisement as well. Why wouldn't they do this? I mean, because some people don't like it? Who cares? If people want to be assholes, people are going to be assholes about anything, It hasn't changed anything. If people have a bad idea of what a geek is, I don't particularly care. They can continue to think that geeks are bad if they want to. It doesn't affect my life. We're still going to enjoy our games, and if they don't want to watch it, they can change the channel, It's
Well, that's
like
what
invading.
What I don't understand is, like, they could have given warning. Like, advertisement maybe. The only reason that I knew about it was because I booted up Hearthstone one day and it said Heroes of the Dorm Grand Finals on ESPN2. They should have had advertisement on the damn channel to prevent,
Now, do you know that they didn't? Because the challenge I have is I don't watch a lot of, like, ESPN2 just regularly. It's one of those things, you go to that channel because there's a specific show you're after.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I'm surprised how many people randomly ran into this versus knowing it. Because when you advertise on the game that this is happening, that's smart because there's your target audience, right? That's who you want to have come and watch this. And so, I mean, the backlash, right, is anybody who just flipped and saw this thing and didn't understand it and was like, well, what's this about? That's the people that probably had some angst, and in a way, it's no different than when I first ran into, like, seeing curling on the Olympics. And I was like, wait, what are they doing? They're sweeping the ice? I don't understand. This seems dumb. Things like that. So, I don't know if they could have done it much better. I mean, you're right. Advertising doesn't hurt. But I think you're still going to run into, regardless, this kind of backlash where you're challenged because people, one, don't understand the game. And if they're trying, I give credit to anyone who at least tried to watch it to see what it is for, because I know when I've watched Twitch streams of League or something like that with the tournaments of League, and I put it on my television, we have a party, sit down and watch some League tournaments, everybody has a blast because for the most part they understand the game, and even those who don't can understand the pacing. But again, League has the most polish of presentation of anything that's broadcast for gaming today. So there's a thing about that.
Apart from our show, of course.
Well, we don't live commentate games, otherwise. No.
No, still.
And going back on the term esports, whether or not you are aware of the classification of what's considered a esport, if you play League, if you play Hearthstone, if you play Heroes, or even if you're doing something as far as playing seasonal in Diablo 3,
Yes.
you are a part of esports, whether you are aware of it or not. And what really gets me is that some of these people who have been saying all these nasty things about, oh my God, ESPN should be airing this. So I got a wild hair up my butt and decided to look at Twitter profiles of people who've been saying these things. And one person in particular actually had in his header on his Twitter page that he had a screenshot of Diablo 3, which makes it that much sweeter. Is that when you are a part of, when you're spending money and you're spending time on a company who you're trash talking because they're airing their product on ESPN, I'm confused. It's one of those things of like, why are you complaining about something that you should be helping promote?
Well, you say that, but at the same time, maybe he only likes Diablo and couldn't get behind anything else they've done.
True. But
that's because I don't give Blizzard a blanket pass for being a good company over a decade ago.
Yeah, we're not going to go another here and there, but it's like one of, oh God, what was it? And like the whole thing about calling cow dung or whatever his name is.
Okay.
It's like when he said what he said on his radio show, he took 3.5 minutes out of his 1 hour radio show to talk trash about this. And I listened from front side to back side. And he's the biggest culprit out of all of this because he has the ability to be paid and state his opinion about things on a national, if not worldwide level.
That is why some people tend to get themselves in trouble when they forget what they're doing.
And when I listened to that episode that contained his rant from front to back, and I'm like, I would rather stick my testicles in a mousetrap than listen to anything else that he does.
Now, I hate to say I'm going to defend anything that he was saying or doing, but I will say, in most cases, everybody's got a right to their opinion, even if it's wrong.
Yep. Yeah, true, but...
Well, it's just that, he's coming from that traditionalist mentality of what sports means to him, right? And so feels slighted for someone trying to help redefine what that could mean and to expand that vision. And, oh gosh, actually I could get into all kinds of rants based on this. But, to leave it that I'm not giving him a pass, but I am saying that I'm not completely... I kind of understand where this all came from. Because this goes all the way back to the concept of jocks versus geeks and nerds from way back in the day. That many of us grew up dealing with, where they always felt superior because they had a physical prowess to them, where those of us felt superior because we were smart. But it's kind of just, it's that same continuation. The difference being, I don't know if there really is much of a difference. It's just they're not, people being not comfortable with something coming into the space that they thought they understood, and having to deal with it openly. And this is an opportunity for that. And I don't know, maybe it's wrong for the way he reacted to it. I'm just not really surprised, I guess.
Well, the least that he could have done was apologized. He didn't say a word on Twitter, so he didn't say anything on his Facebook page. So I'm thinking that in order to hear the apology, that he would say it later on in the week. That required me to get the mouse traps that I stated earlier, and I listened to an additional 4 hours of his content, trying to get a hint of an apology, and he did not apologize.
I said, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. And I don't know the guy at all, and I don't know what kind of show he has, but I would not be surprised if he was your traditional old school jock who has no love for anything that is gaming.
But
doesn't understand it.
He was like, well, if you want me to quit ESPN, the quickest thing that you can do is have me do play-by-play commentary for video games. And I'm like, okay.
There's an answer.
And then, like, I looked up NeoGAF that following day after hearing about all of this. He covered the voting process for Madden, for the Madden cover boy. He's been covering simulations of Super Bowls for the past 5 years using Madden. Now, and he's also, him and his former TV co-host Michelle Beadle, they were in a damn video game. They were a unlockable team in the new NBA Jam remake.
Yikes.
So,
but you know, again, it's just people that do not understand, because the challenge is something like Heroes of the Storm just comes off as very foreign to a concept for people if they don't get it explained to them about the whole team aspects and the overall ebb and flow and purpose of the game. For everyone I've known who's watched, my experience being sitting down and introducing people to league tournaments and having them watch it, it's amazing how many people who don't even touch the game are really entertained by it. Partially, it is the quality of commentation and stuff and presentation that they have now. But part of it, and what they do is with the commentators, they're really good at explaining things at a new level for people that have never experienced it. And so you can get drawn in and not even know, because you see the competitiveness happening. You may not know the details or understand why that play was better than this one, but in general you can kind of fall like, oh, they're doing really good. And I don't know if that polish exists yet with what Blizzard's doing. I did not watch it. I'd have to go back and find some video clips, and I just haven't seen any Heroes of the Storm kind of streams. And let's say I can't say that he wasn't wrong. I just say that I do understand where it all came from, and I don't know if I would call for a firing so much as
no.
He needs to, like, as a network. This is just my own perspective being here on VTW. I would hope that the members of the network were supportive of the entire network. And if you do have gripes about what something your network's doing, you maybe keep that inside the network and to your people that are running and making those decisions.
To your manager or talk to your colleagues who are doing this? Yeah.
You don't air it to your fan base to make a stink unless you're just an ass. And that's where I think he's been an ass, is that open reaction about something his network is doing, basically saying that it's wrong, right? That's where I'm
Well, it's like one of the biggest, it's like I was explaining to my dad and I was explaining it to my brother, that what he said was coming across to be like a bully with a mic in his face. That's what it came across to be. And on top of that, when he said that hearing commentary was like putting a gun in your mouth, you know, I'm probably not the only one, you know, in earshot that has had, you know, someone lose their life via a firearm. But it kind of hit me harder because, you know, it's a combination of what he said and how he said it.
Yeah.
That hit me a lot harder.
Well, so the question now, and not to belittle any experience you've had, but there is a separate issue about sensitivity, especially of things with like suicide, stuff like that, and in a way I could comment back to kind of what you had said earlier, where you said that people were being, quote, retarded about how they dealt with the situation. And God, this is... I hate to be on the advocacy of PC, because I'm kind of on both sides of the issue here. It's just like when we talk about trigger words, right, Ken? You like those.
Yep.
In a way, it doesn't bother me. The only few things that are like when you get a little far is when someone compares a group of people that are just doing things that are maybe an opinion or something like that, and compare it to like the horrific acts of like the, you know, Nazis or something like that. Or
like it's
that's when I think it's inappropriate and wrong.
And
the experience of, well, because when we talk about things like, it's the choice of words, right? If someone's saying put a gun in your mouth kind of thing, the experience is, how many times have you listened to something so boring on something and even made the gesture of like, like just kill me now. It would solve
Yeah.
the problem or make me feel better. That's the only thing I'm saying about that, where it's like, part of me actually says, because I think we're getting too PC in this world, that I'm not worried about that. Which maybe I'm just an asshole, but
I think I've got a good explanation for it, and a good example. So I have a friend who in a similar situation, obviously no firearms in the UK, but I had a friend who committed suicide when I was younger, and the way in which she died is very similar to an act at the start of what was the game that got like so much heat for being extremely gory?
which of
Not
the many?
GTA.
What was this? Which of the many?
Postal?
Every Mortal Kombat, Postal when it came out, Carmageddon when it came
No.
out.
It's specifically the killing
so
random
many.
people. But anyway,
Yeah, so
there was
there's
a game
so
that came
many,
out.
yeah.
I personally, it got a lot of heat for it, and I thought, violence, who cares? I'll play it. And I played it, and the start of the game, the first thing you do is you kill somebody by putting a plastic bag over their head and strangling them. And that is the method in which somebody I know, So to me, I was like, I don't want to play this game anymore because it brings back bad memories for me, and personally, I don't want to play it. I don't think that the developers should lose their jobs over that. I think that's a personal issue to me, into which I didn't enjoy that, and so I'm not going to go back and play that game. I don't think there's any reason for the company to have any repercussions for it. Like, they posted it as a violent game, just like this radio host has his own opinions and can say his own things. Now you know not to listen to him. I don't think the guy should lose his job over that. You personally you're not being forced to listen to him. You're in no way. It's not as a like government official or anything saying this. This is just a guy with his opinion.
Well,
so,
it'd be-
it
the
sucks
worst
that
part-
you heard this, but I wouldn't
Well,
say that
if
you should lose your job
it
over
would have
that.
been a flip on it if he had advised or advocated for people
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
something, like if he had said like, if I wish every one of those commentators had put a gun in their mouth or something like that, then I would be like,
That's almost
crossing a
threat.
line,
That's
right? That's
horrible,
crossing
yeah.
a line. That would be the wrong way of saying it. Where the way he said it was more personal thing, it's just like, that's unfortunate, but like Ken said, I believe you just say, well, screw him, no one I'm ever going to support. That's my spin on it. But I try to see things from a very level keel and try not to get too emotionally invested either way. I mean, we were talking before the show, Ken and I, a little bit about Gamergate, and we were going to argue that a little bit. But
It's something we're always careful with.
Well, because I keep hearing both sides of a thing. Part of me, when it comes down to the whole aspect of being honest in journalism, I'm a huge advocate of, right? Hearing more and more about the initial situations in Gamergate that led to it, with how, the initial stuff of inappropriate behaviors and stuff was leaked, and how there's agendas and stuff in there, makes me even more so like, well, it started in a very bad way on both parties, and the reactions were bad on both sides. And so now you get stuck where it's all a mess, and so there's sides to it both ways. And so I try to stay at a very even keel, but I get my spikes too. If you say something specific, I'll be like, nope, you're wrong, you're an idiot. So back for it. But so more to specifically on this issue though with it, Cup. I agree with being offended that this guy was so harsh in his reaction to something that a large group of people do enjoy and love, and would love to see them a little more embracing of just be open and say like, hey, I don't get it, but maybe you like it, fine. Because in reality, that's more my stance on what most of the world should be. It's like, hey, if it's not negatively impacting me, cool. Who cares?
It's the truth of My Little Pony as well, right? Like, I don't like it. I don't genuinely think it should be abolished. I don't genuinely think that all My Little Pony art should be deleted from DeviantArt or anything. I don't enjoy seeing it. It's not something I enjoy, and I don't get it. And you know what? But I don't care if anybody else does. I really don't. I like making fun of like, I like annoying Wayne with it and making jokes about it on the show, but I don't ever want to get it removed or anything. But anyway, Cup, how did you come on the show and make us talk about all the things we're not supposed to talk about, man? You're a catalyst, sir, for us being bad.
Hey, all I have to say is that, the biggest thing about it is that if one person feels a particular way about it, it is for his or her own reason. The opinions might be there, but if one person felt that way, what's keeping, hundreds, if not thousands of other people feeling the same way about it? The biggest thing is that, yes, it is my own opinion that I think he should be fired, but, the petition that I saw had like 200 and some odd views the first day, but only 10 people agreed with me by signing it.
Sure.
Gotcha.
So as long as my
Oh, you're
So,
totally entitled to make that as well. And
Yeah.
Oh
if you believe that way and you think other people feel similarly affected, then good luck with your petition, because if lots of people feel that he should be fired for this, then I hope we get lots of signatures, because that's only fair, right? If that represents the viewership of ESPN and people are genuinely offended by it, then yes, that more people should sign that thing. If not, then not. And whatever happens, you've had your say, and that's important, right?
yeah, that's all that it boils down to is that yes, ESPN aired something. Someone said something in response to esports, and I'm coming out to defend not only the people who felt that way about someone's opinion, but also defending esports as a whole.
Indeed, sir. Now I'm gonna have to cut you off, sir, because we have literally about 5 seconds left, so we're gonna have to rush through this. Thank you so much for your call, though.
Sorry about that.
Good luck. with your
No, it's all
petition.
good. We appreciate you calling in. Like I said, I figured that was probably what you're talking
was
about when you
enjoyable.
mentioned
Thank you for the chat,
esports. so that worked out very well, and we
No problem. I'll
appreciate
holler
it.
at you later.
Speak soon, sir. Speak soon. All right, you have been listening to ShowX on VitaProductions.com.
Well, so here's the thing, kid. Well, we want to have to spiel it real quick. Let me kill and put us back to where we normally go. I'll be right back. No, I know. Just a sec. Do this.
Yes, fixing things.
Yeah,
Okay.
fixing things and stuff. Although that might have
Okay.
changed your audio, so double check with that call.
Test.
No, you
Speak.
sound all right. Good.
Okay.
This is for a
You've
second
listened to
thing.
ShowX on
Wait,
VitaProductions.
stop! I'm still stopping you, Ken, because here's the thing. We're not bumping up against anything, so it's not the end of the world. Yes, normally if we had a show coming on right away, it'd be like, it's the end, we must stop. What we're bumping up against is I need to get ready to look like Serial Pharrell and find out where I'm shooting a location, run around in forests
I must
and
go
stuff
as well,
and get
though, sir,
cut
I'm
up.
afraid.
And you got to run as well. All right, so with that in mind, you have been listening to Show X, and thank you guys for listening this week. We should be back next week with Nat 20, correct?
Yes, we will be here.
Okay, and I will have all the tubes sorted so
Somehow.
I hit all the buttons appropriate to have video going when it needs to be. All right, with that in mind, we'll hopefully also... Gosh, it's good. We have too many guests. We have so much news I want to talk about today.
Yeah.
So much news. Oh, well. All right, so with that, Ken, please give us your spiel. Take a breath.
There's 3.
Let us
Okay.
know. All right.
You have been listening to ShowX on VitaProductions.com. Thank you very much for tuning in, folks. We really do appreciate it. If you have not checked out our video stream and you only listen to the audio, that's great. Look, listen to however you wish it. But we get loads of people downloading the show and loads of people listening live. But surprisingly low people actually watch our video, and we put a lot of effort into it. We'd like to have some feedback and see if you guys actually, enjoy us putting in the effort to do this. So tell us your thoughts. Go along and see it. Go to youtube.com, type in Versus the World Productions or ShowX, and you'll find us somehow or other. Give us feedback. We do appreciate that. Check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/DocDead, twitter.com/VTWShowX, and twitter.com/GoHex for Wayne for the show and for myself. Send in emails to showx@VTWProductions.com. We will read them out on air if they are appropriate to do so, and we always enjoy getting emails because it makes us feel loved. Check us out on patreon.com/showx. Give us some pennies for doing the show so we can continue doing the show. That's also very welcome. We've actually gotten to a point where we can actually retrieve the funds and actually going to put it towards licenses and stuff. So it's about to actually relieve us of a lot.
It's going to be meaningful as we come in here and
Yeah.
Windows 10 comes out and we have to upgrade and we have to see what the latest version of Sam does.
Yeah,
So.
so it's going to be very interesting this coming month. So all the support so far, we really appreciate, guys, and any more is also welcome. Even $1 a month would be great. Check us out on Facebook, ShowX there as well, and check out the forums. We've got some interesting stuff going on today, or yesterday. Kuro's actually been asking for the art contest to come back, so we'll see if that gets much backing. We'll see
if
how
we
that
get
goes.
some organization. Yeah, maybe we should have a poll and see how many people want it. Because we can't have that without you.
Indeed. So thanks for having me on the show, sir. Been lots of fun
As always, good to catch up. And again, it seems like I can never get through everything we're trying to do. So we will try. One of these days, we'll keep on track and actually get through a bunch of news that I keep having a lot, like just adding up, because there's things that are actually really good in here. All right. Anyhow, thank you, Ken, very much, and we will be on again next week, everyone. So catch us then at our regularly scheduled time, hopefully. And please, if anyone's lingering around, come our regular scheduled time, and you see people popping on asking what happened, tell them to go check out the YouTube stream, at least for the last half of the show. And when I finally edit and post everything later to get all of the shows up online for audio. Anyhow, we've been listening to ShowX on VTWProductions.com. Catch us again next week. Bye, everybody. Wait. Yeah, okay.
See you in the next zombie. Good night. Also, God.